somebody did post bail. We know that. It wasn't him, based on something called a surety bond. David Chesnoff is the most powerful lawyer in the entire state of Nevada. The powers that be, they are out in full force to protect this guy.
So recently, Saagar Enjeti ripped into the United States and Israel for collaborating to protect a pedophile that posted bail and escaped from Las Vegas back to Israel after being caught in a child sex trafficking sting. Now, a lot of things about this story are alarming, but as Saagar researches and finds out, he reveals here how this corruption runs far deeper than any of us thought, based on his legal team. So let's get his take on this. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel.
All right, let's talk about this new update, shall we, on this Mr. Tom Alexandrovich. So I wanted to provide everybody a fulsome update. As I have said earlier at the top, Las Vegas, you guys are like a mafia state. Like the blackout that I have now gotten from people who I originally could get on the phone is extraordinary. And the reason why is the word has come on down from the top. Everybody shut up about this case. And in particular, it shows from the lawyer that Tom Alexandrovich has hired. So let's go and put this up there on the screen. The Las Vegas Review-Journal, who's owned by who? Who? Right?
That would be
Miriam Adelson. Right. Oh, forgot about that. The Las Vegas Review-Journal has now confirmed that the Israeli official, Tom Alexandrovich, who was caught up in that child sex sting, has now hired the celebrity attorney David Chesnoff and Richard Schoenfeld. David Chesnoff is the most powerful lawyer in the entire state of Nevada. Very recently, he, along with 22 others, including Mark Levin, were appointed by Donald Trump to the Homeland Security Advisory Committee, okay? Just to show you how powerful this current individual is. And lo and behold, it will shock you, absolutely shock you to learn that he is a very pro-Israel lawyer who is the most powerful one in the state of Nevada. Let's go to the next one, please. He actually did an entire article with the Las Vegas Review-Journal back in November of 2023, where he went to Israel to volunteer in a hospital. He claimed that he had spent a lot of time there over the years. He's now been awarded, actually, with several awards pertaining to the state of Israel and for a lot of his support, which brings me actually to the next one. So let's go and put that one up on the screen. So this is fascinating. I'm becoming very familiarized with the state. Back in 2021, it was actually kind of a scandal in Vegas because David Chesnoff, the lawyer now for Tom Alexandrovich, donated $30,000 to the Clark County DA, Steve Wolfson. Steve Wolfson is the person who is in charge of prosecuting Mr. Alexandrovich.
So get that. Now there's a conflict of interest here. Not only do you have Chesnov representing this vile criminal who escaped to Israel, and by the way, that's not exactly our greatest ally in the Middle East if they're not going to extradite him, but now he's in this legal contest potentially with Wolfson, the guy he's already paid. So what's it going to be here? Is that money going to stick? Is that money going to have lasting influence? $30,000 isn't just chump change, even to people like this. And if he's just going to allow this guy to walk, not put pressure on anyone to get this guy back, give him probation, it really tells you all you need to know. And again, we're told all the propaganda about how it's so beneficial for the U.S. to support Israel, even after Israel doesn't lift a finger to return pedophiles like this to the United States. And by the way, this guy talked to not only the NSA, but also the FBI. Did they revoke his passport? No. They let him fly right away after someone posted bail for him. And guess what? They won't say who posted bail for him. I'm guessing maybe Miriam Adelson. What do you know?
Now, people need to understand that this famous defense lawyer donates $30K to the Clark County DA, Stephen Wolfson. Now, we are currently in a situation which they called pay-to-play justice in the scandal there at the time, where Mr. Chesnoff is now representing Tom Alexandrovich in the very case that DA Wolfson is prosecuting this Israeli government official for. I will continue to note that Wolfson has only given one interview on the case of Alexandrovich. He said that he was treated completely normally, but he floated a probation as a potential option.
Because of course he did. Is he going to recuse himself from this case? No, it doesn't look like he is, especially because he has a relationship with Chesnov, who sits right beside Mark Levin, another fanatical pro-Israel lobbyist, essentially. Not really a lobbyist, but a fanatical Zionist. sitting next to Levin on the Homeland Security Advisory Council. We can see where this is going already, and it's not going to be tough love for, the children of Israel, even when they come over here and commit heinous crimes and try to solicit sex from minors.
So everybody understands here, he's potentially already floating the idea that Alexandrovich can walk scot-free and he can just get probation. He also said currently that he doesn't have any concerns about Alexandrovich's return, but he's like, we have extradition treaties there that are available. Well, I looked into it because that's what I do. Let's go and put D7, please, up here on the screen. And I actually did some research. I go, okay, when is the last time Israel returned a charged American pedophile? Well, the most recent is just from October of 2023, when a guy named Gershon Kranzer, who was charged with multiple crimes against children in 2010, fled to Israel. It took 11 years to return him to the United States. Why? Because he took advantage of Aliyah, the right to return, which we talked about earlier in the show, the Israeli legal system, and specifically the extradition treaty with the United States, has multiple loopholes for any Israeli citizen who is facing extradition.
Yeah, this is absolutely true. And just to provide some clarity here and clarification, if people aren't familiar, there's a law in Israel called the Law of Return. Aliyah, I think maybe is the Hebrew translation of that. That is a law that allows you to invoke Israeli citizenship just by having at least one Jewish grandparent, and that being enough to go to Israel, invoke your Jewish citizenship on those grounds, and then not be extradited back to the United States. So Saagar's right. There's all sorts of legal loopholes from our greatest ally in the Middle East to protect pedophiles that flee justice from America and go over there. There are some resources in the United States that show right now there's dozens of pedophiles that have escaped justice going over there and are not extradited. Saagar's pointing out here that it took 11 years to return the last one that Israel ever returned. It does happen. It's rare, but they are protecting a lot of them too. Alexandrovich seems no different, and he has incredible legal representation, a Zionist legal representation in Vegas, of course.
In fact, this became a crisis back in 1999 because actually locally here, Crystal, a 17-year-old murdered another 17-year-old, butchered his body, and set him on fire. His father was Israeli, and he's like, look, Israel's got no extradition, we're going. And so he fled to Israel. What ended up happening is that the Israelis, after massive diplomatic pressure happened, they said, okay, our Supreme Court won't allow him to be extradited. So we'll try him for the crime in Israel, and he can serve his prison sentence there. That leads to a 2005 extradition protocol. That protocol, though, has massive amounts of holes in it, which basically the Israeli legal system is rigged. I guess if all should be, for the ability for their citizens to not face extradition.
Yeah, and even if the trial takes place there, it's going to be populated not by a jury of this guy's peers in the place where the crime took place, but peers in terms of Israelis that had nothing to do with the locale in the area where this happened, where, the egregious offense would be widely broadcast and known, and, vengeance would be harbored toward this individual for it. It's just not the same. It's a total loophole, and it's a total slap in the face to the United States that bankrolls Israel throughout everything it wants to do in Gaza, the genocide it's consummating there, and to join in all of its war crusades, the regime change wars that they've wanted, that the neocons here have wanted too, such as the ones in Libya and Syria and Iraq and Iran. That's, just the truth.
So the current problem is this guy ever coming back? He has no incentive to. As I just showed you, you can fight your case for 11 years and still barely face return. This is very, very difficult. There's already statute of limitations problems from a rabbi who was charged in the 1980s. He still is living with impunity in the state of Israel, never came back because the Israeli Supreme Court was like, oh, it's the statute of limitations, but it's the only statute of limitations because he fled, right? So he was able
to run out.
He still lives there, totally out in the open with impunity. I mean, a horrific pedophile.
And there should never be statutes of limitations on rape and child molestation, by the way. That alone is absurd.
And so every ounce of research I have seen here is that this guy who worked for the government And if he wants to, basically, if Trump doesn't put any serious pressure on the government, we will never see him again. Because think about it, the prison sentence for this charge is 1 to 10 years, and the DA is already floating probation. You're gonna fight a guy for 11 years for extradition to come back and serve a 1 year? I think we should, to be clear, just to set an example for all of our diplomats. But the road is set to the sweetheart deal of all time. And so I'm just laying the groundwork for the powers that be. They are out in full force to protect this guy.
Yeah, and something tells me Trump isn't going to apply a lot of pressure. He hasn't mentioned this once. Very few sources within the administration have even mentioned it at all. You know, Pam Bondi, the first thing she says when there's a guy on a college campus, you know, yelling at a guy for having an IDF shirt, that's worthy of her to tweet about and to talk about and prioritize, but not pedophiles that flee justice here and don't have their passports revoked, fly back to Israel and probably escape any sort of justice. Nah, that's not a priority. And it doesn't seem to be for Trump either. Why? The influence of the Israel lobby. This was a high-ranking official in Netanyahu's government. He was a cybersecurity expert, right? That's enough to get you off scot-free. I mean, if you can get away with genocide in Gaza, apparently you can get off with child molestation too. Anyone connected to the Israel government is protected by the American government.
There's From been Chesnoff to Adelson to the government, I mean, it's all out there.
There have been a lot of focus on this U.S. attorney Trump appointed who she's very...
Sigal Chattah.
Yes, she's also very pro-Israel. Wasn't she born in Israel? What's her...
I don't know.
Anyway.
I think she was born in Israel, and she's a dual citizen. She came here as an Israeli citizen and then became a United States citizen as well.
Anyway, she's very committed, Zionist. And she, I know, deleted her account on Twitter, I believe, after she came under scrutiny for potential involvement in this. Like, what can we say about her? Is the scrutiny on her?
It's kind of complicated.
Yeah.
So So here's the thing. She is an Israeli-born American. By her own definition. She has multiple previous posts on her personal Twitter account where she had basically said, I'm very pro-Israel, etc. The thing is that...
cheering for the destruction of Gaza.
Yeah, destruction of Gaza, etc. Right. So she's now the acting U.S. attorney for the state of Nevada. Now, the thing is, what makes it sketchy, and I have yet to uncover any evidence that the feds actually did intervene, but the facts make it's pretty difficult to explain that the federal agents, FBI and HSI agents, who were the first people to question Alexandrovich, did not give a heads up to the U.S. Attorney's Office. The U.S. Attorney's Office has not answered any questions about that. 0 questions.
Yeah, no, that's the best point. A lot of people say that, you know, where there's smoke, there's fire here because of all the signs that point to, you know, corruption. He was talking to NSA officials and FBI officials by his own admission to the Las Vegas Police Department. And that has just been completely ignored. So despite that, no one warned the DOJ, no one revoked his passport. They just let him fly back a few days later after this bail was posted.
About this. They put all the blame on the judge. And by the way, they got all their facts completely incorrect because Alexandrovich never stood before a Nevada state judge. That he actually took advantage of a BLM-style law from 2020, which allows criminals to just post bail and go scot-free if they want to before any probable cause hearing before a judge. So the difficulty, like right now, I think, is that there's all of this smoke. The fire has not been able to be proved. But the smoke that currently exists in Nevada is that they have a powerful attorney. He's represented like Bruno Mars, you know? I mean, like seriously very, like very, very rich, Paris Hilton, you know? Those types of people. TMZ's probably got this guy on speed dial, like a lawyer to the stars, like one of the classic people, kind of like the OJ thing. Here's a question. Who's paying him? I mean, that's an open one. Who is paying your legal fee? Is it Alexandrovich, who's worked on an Israeli government salary? Is it the government? Is it a rich benefactor? I've been trying to figure out who posted his bail. From what I've been able to find out, no bail bondsman company actually bailed him out. Somebody did post bail. We know that. It wasn't him based on something called a surety bond.
And they're not going to be telling us because it's probably someone connected to the Israeli government or someone that's a fanatical pro-Israel Zionist. I think that's the surest thing. You know, the Adelson thing is kind of a joke, but it wouldn't surprise anyone, would it, if it was Miriam Adelson herself who posted this guy's bail?
The question is, who posted his bail? Again, total blackout from Henderson City. So there's still a lot of very sketchy stuff here. I personally think what's going to happen is he's going to get probation and he's going to walk. And the question will be, is he going to get special treatment compared to the 7 others who were caught up in the sting?
Right.
All of who have been charged. This man remains uncharged by the state of Nevada. He's the only individual caught in the sting who hasn't yet been charged. I've been checking.
Just think of that. All 7 others in this sting, this sexual predator sting that were soliciting sex from minors, were charged, but not this guy. What's the commonality? Well, this guy worked for the Israeli government. I think it's as simple as that. Just how preposterous is that? We're supposed to just sit here and pretend that this is all fine, that nothing's wrong with this plagued, toxic relationship between the U.S. and Israel, and the things that Israeli officials get away with in the United States, and just pretend that's just how alliances go. You know, I don't see that reciprocated in Israel, nor would I want it to, because that's bogus. I would never stand up for someone that's an American, part of any government. I'm anti-government, but if he's part of my community and he goes over there and commits sexual offenses like this, I would never double down on the basis that he's from my community. That's vile.
Every day.
And I think it's just worth reminding people that this isn't just like some random Israeli.
No.
He is a high-level official,
Yeah.
close to the Netanyahus, et cetera.
Yeah.
So, this isn't just some rando. This is, what's his official title? He's like in charge of
Cyber directorate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cyber director.
Oh,
so,
by the way, immediately after this, my phone, lockdown mode. I was like, I'm not taking any risks.
very, intelligent, very intelligent. I will say the uncovering and the reporting of this story, which initially surfaced for me, at least from Mel, she's a Village Crazy
Yes,
Lady
that's
on
right.
Twitter, and then your sleuthing, it has restored some of my faith in quote unquote independent media because we would never know.
No, Crystal's right about that. Before the independent media, this story never would have crept into the political zeitgeist, gotten discussion at all. And just the proof of the past shows that these stories didn't get much discussion before that. Before the independent media came to be, that wasn't so rabidly and zealously pro-Zionist. You have people actually covering Israel with a critical eye for the first time, essentially, in my lifetime. Being an American, growing up watching cable news, you didn't see anything negative toward Israel, no matter what. Americans didn't learn the true history of Israel. But now we do have people talking about this law of return that shields pedophiles that are Israelis from, justice in the United States. And it's a big issue. Daryl Cooper talked about it recently on Tucker Carlson as well. This is getting some buzz, and rightly so. I'm glad people are starting to wake up to this. I'm waiting to see if any of this corruption, really, sheds its most unavoidable eye on this, where you actually see proof that the U.S. worked in tandem with Las Vegas to get this guy out and into Israel. Both sides are denying any wrongdoing, but the fact that he talked to NSA and FBI and didn't have his passport revoked is just odd. And the fact that Las Vegas won't reveal who posted his bond, I don't know if that's in accordance with law in Nevada. If you know that, let me know in the comments. But that's odd too. You'd think that would be a conflict of interest if the public can't look up who posted someone's bail, especially a criminal that is being indicted on child sex crimes, that wouldn't come to be. But look, this issue is indicative of the poisonous relationship between the U.S. and Israel, how Israeli officials get away with anything from sexual crimes to genocides to drawing the U.S. into wars. It's just been the tale of the century. It's been the tale especially of the last few decades, but that's where we're at. Let me know down below, do you think this story is going to make even more headway? Are we going to learn more about this? Does this really show the absurd nature of the U.S. relationship with Israel? Let me know in the comments down below. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, also subscribe to Breaking Points. Really appreciate them for covering this. Saagar does excellent journalism on stories like this. And please consider becoming a YouTube member. If you click the join button below, you can support the channel, and in return, I'll give you access to all my videos before they go live on my channel. Until I see you guys next time, no more war, no more debt, no more inflation, and no more empire. Peace out, guys. Catch you in the next one.